Hi, this is SlingFin Tim, and today I'll be showing you around our CrossBow Four-Season tent. The CrossBow is our lightweight but livable four-season tent for two people. We designed it to be the ultimate one-tent quiver that's light enough to take backpacking, but strong enough for alpine use above treeline. It's perfect for ski tours, alpine climbing, exceptionally exposed and windy backpacking trips, and all-around desert use. The CrossBow is built around our patented web truss, which combines the superior strength of sleeve-style tents with the high wind setup ease of clip-style tents. The web truss increases the CrossBow's strength by reducing flexion in the poles. To keep the poles stable, the web truss is sewn along the grain line of the fabric to reduce bias stretch. By tensioning the web truss after the poles are inserted, you reduce the amount the poles can flex and consequently increase the tent's capacity to handle bad weather. The web truss eases high wind setup by allowing you to fully set up the pole structure before attaching the tent body, which can catch wind during setup and act like a parachute. Simply unclip the web truss, leaving the corners attached, and insert the poles. Then you can reattach the tent body or set up the fly and reattach the tent body from the shelter of the fly. The web truss can also be left attached to make setup faster if you're not setting up the tent in high winds. The web truss can also be used to facilitate a fly first pitch in bad weather. To pitch the CrossBow with the fly attached, lay the tent body out with a fly sheet on top. Attach the corners of the fly sheet to the grommet tabs and slide the long poles through the web truss and insert the ends in the grommets. Then you can install the cross pole from the comfort of the fly sheet. On a beautiful day like today, when you don't need the strength of the web truss and saving weight is your top priority, you can switch out the web truss for the included DAC twist clips. This saves almost a quarter pound. Even in this configuration, the CrossBow can still hold its own in all but the harshest of conditions. The CrossBow features a tried and true pole architecture that is easy to set up, provides ample interior space, and excellent strength. The sidewalls are vertical, which provides tons of volume and headroom. The poles are DAC's new 10.65mm PL poles, which offer a strength-to-weight ratio unlike anything we've ever seen. In addition to the web truss and the poles themselves, the CrossBow has several features that boost its strength-to-weight ratio. Pole structure can be made even stronger by using our outrigger attachment, which allows you to use your trekking poles or your ski poles to reinforce the CrossBow's cross pole. CrossBow's cross pole. Stick your pole tip in the ground, adjust the length of the pole so it's the height of the cross pole, and fasten the Velcro outrigger attachment around the pole's handle. This dramatically improves the CrossBow's resistance to snow loading and high winds. The CrossBow comes with a pre-installed set of internal guy lines, which increase the tent's lateral stability and snow loading capacity. Simply tension them when the weather gets bad, and loosen them when you take the tent down. Another set of internal guy lines can also be installed at the other end of the tent for increased strength. The CrossBow's fly sheet has 10 attachments for external guy lines and 6 perimeter pull-out loops. 8 of these guy-outs correspond to toggles and O-rings on the underside of the fly sheet that allow you to fasten the fly sheet directly to the poles, whether or not you're using the web truss. The toggles also match up with the internal guy line attachment points. By fastening the fly sheet to the poles in this way, you're establishing a direct connection between the guy lines and the poles, so you're stabilizing the poles themselves, rather than just yanking on the fly fabric. Using this feature in conjunction with the web truss, outrigger attachments, and internal and external guy lines, plus the wide diameter poles, is what gives the CrossBow such an exceptional strength-to-weight ratio. The CrossBow has a ton of venting options. When designing the ventilation system for the CrossBow, our guiding principle was to have as much unimpeded airflow as possible. While mesh may be necessary in buggy conditions, it blocks a surprising amount of airflow. There's no substitute for an unimpeded cross breeze for keeping condensation at bay. However, we know people will be using the CrossBow in all sorts of conditions, so we incorporated mesh ventilation options, so you can use those when it's buggy. The most obvious vent in the CrossBow is the through vent in the fly sheet. This vent corresponds to a matching one in the tent body and can be left partially open when it's precipitating without compromising weatherproofness. The vent on the tent body also has a mesh layer that can be used if you need to vent the tent in buggy conditions. The CrossBow's doors are an integral part of the way the CrossBow manages condensation. The shape of the zipper allows the top of the doors to be cracked open for a nice cross breeze at the top of the tent body where warm, moist air collects. When used in conjunction with the through vent, you'll have ample airflow inside the tent body to manage condensation. For those times when it's just too buggy to crack open the doors, there's a large mesh window vent in each door. The ripstop panels can be tied back to keep them out of the way. Finally, the crossbow features our kickstand vents, which provide weather-resistant ventilation high up on the fly sheet. These are the final piece of the ventilation puzzle. They're especially useful in huge snow events, because even if it's snowing too hard to use the through vent, and snow fills the gap between the fly and the ground, the steep vestibule panels shed snow well enough that the kickstand vents do not easily fill with snow. This means the air keeps moving and you keep breathing, which is always a good thing. No tent is completely immune from condensation, and anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. But the crossbow has enough ventilation to keep condensation to a minimum whenever possible. If the vent doesn't make fly sheet orientation obvious enough, the fly sheet and tent body have a color-coordinated corner stake loop, as well as a color-coordinated reference tab to help orient the fly during setup. The interior and exterior zipper pulls are different colors, and the fly sheet zipper pulls are different lengths, so you don't accidentally grab the wrong one when you're getting in and out of the tent. 2 large 11 square foot vestibules swallow the gear you want to leave outside the tent, and 8 interior pockets provide all the organizational opportunities you could possibly want for the gear you want to keep in the tent with you. 4 ceiling O-rings let you hang a clothesline, lantern, or whatever, in case, for some reason, the pockets aren't enough for you. Since zipper sliders are usually the first thing to wear out on a tent, we included backups pre-installed on every zipper. The tent's fly sheet is made of a custom 20D ripstop nylon, coated on both sides with silicone, with a tear strength that rivals fabrics twice its weight. The floor fabric is a 20D PE-coated nylon that's very hydrolytically stable, mildew-resistant, and non-absorbent. The crossbow is our most versatile tent. It'll see you through many seasons of ski tours, alpine climbs, desert exploration, or whatever gratuitous, absurd adventures you can dream up. It's designed to handle anything you can throw at it with ease and panache. Now, the only limiting factor for your adventures is your imagination.